Hey everyone, so in the last video we set up CI/CD using GitHub Actions and we saw how automation is done, and currently we have all the resources running in the test namespace. kubectl get all command will show you all the resources that are running. So we have deployments and services currently, and there is also an Ingress resource that we have created using Helm charts. If you take a look at Helm charts of API gateway, in the templates there is Ingress YAML file, which this is the Ingress resource that is created, but currently as you can see the address field is empty, and we are going to create a AWS Application Load Balancer and use that as our Ingress resource as the main point to access our application. So in today's video we'll be looking at how to create Application Load Balancer as an Ingress resource. So this is the MD file you can find in the repository, having the steps by which you can achieve this. Also, if you look at the services currently, the employee service and user service are of the type cluster IP, so we'll not be exposing it. Internal networking will happen, and API gateway is of node port, and we will be associating this ALB ingress with the API gateway service. So let's go ahead and follow these steps to set it up. Firstly, we'll have to download this IAM policy. This policy has all the rules for the ALB controller that it needs to interact with the ALB and the other AWS resources, and we can download it using this command. So let's copy paste this. This is downloaded. So now using this policy that we downloaded, we have to create an IAM policy. The name of this policy is AWS Load Balancer Controller IAM policy, and as you can see the policy is now created, and using this policy the controller can interact with AWS and create the load balancer. And now we'll have to create a service account and an IAM role. You can use this command for that, and make sure to replace your AWS account ID here before running this command. I'll be doing it. So as you can see now the service account is created, and what basically happened now is that the IAM policy that we created here is being associated with our Kubernetes service account in the particular cluster and the specified namespace. So this gives the controller, ALB controller, the privileges to create ALB on AWS. So then let's go on and add this Helm repository using which we are going to install our ALB controller. So this already exists in mine, and we got an update from the EKS Helm chart. Now this is done, we can use this command to install the AWS Load Balancer controller, which will create the AWS Load Balancer. So the one thing here is you will have to specify the correct VPC ID. So if you head to your EKS cluster, this is the cluster. Under the networking tab you can find the VPC that is present here, and you will have to just copy paste that here. So after replacing the VPC ID, check everything is correct. And one other thing we have to replace is the namespace is cube system currently. We'll have to edit that to our namespace, that is test. So this is done. this will create a AWS Load Balancer controller. Yes, now this is deployed. So now that this controller is created, it should create an AWS Load Balancer for us, Application Load Balancer. We can check our Ingress resource. It will take some time to assign the address here. Meanwhile, we can take a look at our load balancers to see if anything is created. You can see this load balancer is currently in provisioning state, and the DNS starts with K8. It means that it's an Ingress resource, and this will be updated soon to this address. It is still in the provisioning state, so we'll have to wait for some time for it to be available, and then using this DNS we will be able to access our application. Yes, so now the load balancer is in the active state, so it is created, and we can access it now using DNS. So this is because if we take a look at our code, in the API gateway application YAML file, we'll find that this is the path on which this is accessible to view our Swagger UI. So we can copy paste this path there along with the DNS. Yes, so this gives our Swagger page for us, and we can change the definition to pick any. Currently it's API gateway by default. We can access our employee service, and you can see the APIs related to that to create a new employee or to get the employee ID. And you can see this is the Kubernetes service that we've created. kubectl get svc. We'll see this is the API gateway service that is created, from which it is fetching its path and everything, and user service as well is fetching directly from the API gateway. So this way, by just exposing our API gateway and associating it with an Ingress resource, we'll be able to access our microservices application. And that's it for this video. Thank you everyone.